works in this matchup versus Trump's Warrior?
I think it was a really good deck to start with here from RDU because I think that RDU predicted that Trump will not start with his Hunter. So if you can start with your Druid and get away with a win, I think you're satisfied with that in RDU's position. But this matchup can go either way. I'm not quite sure what kind of Druid this is. Oh yeah, right. This is the Druid that he was playing yesterday, the Stripe Crow Druid. Apparently, I was told.
Yeah, I was told the same thing, and apologies for not hitting that yesterday, but we know it coming into the day or into today, and a turn one shade of Nax Ramus.
That is pretty
Oh my
sick.
god, that's gonna be
He's
stacking up so
he's
fast.
not gonna attack with it this turn because that leaves it vulnerable to Fiery War Axe. Can Argus it next turn, which is if he wants to, but that's a bit mana efficient though. He's just gonna. I think he's just gonna leave it here for until it feels satisfied with HP of the minion.
Yeah, usually you have the option to like coin out a shade of Naxxramas and get it stacking up like a turn early, but with an Innervate turn one, that's just going to make this so incredibly strong. And I mean, this early into the game, I mean, Fiery War Axe is a great thing to deal with 3/3s, but it's already a 4/4 shade of Naxxramas out there on the
Yeah.
field.
So now he's out of range of Fiery War Axe, so he's thinking about attacking here. He's a little bit afraid of the possibility of coin Death Bite here, which is in case a card that Trump has. Not Thump.
Thump. Yeah,
Thump.
he does have that possibility. Actually chooses not to attack with it. Now that it's a 5/5, he'll have that same decision again. But this time he can taunt it up, get it to 6/6 range, and that's a
Yeah.
6/6 4 turns in.
So now it's out of range of Shield Slam, it's out of range of his Death Bite. It does, however, have Slam in his hand and a Fury War Axe, so those together with the Acolyte could actually kill that Shade. And that Shade needs to die this turn. Oh, actually, he could wait one turn and BGH it as well. That's a possibility now that he top decked that.
All right, yeah, so BGH, a nice top deck for Trump, and it will sort of mitigate this early pressure on. He's already taken 6 damage, though, so he'll be taking 6 more next turn if he doesn't find some way to deal with this. So a
Yeah,
very strong start from RDU, but
I do
counterable.
think that I saw this list today, the Druid list, but I don't think there is any BGH target in it. I actually don't think there's any BGH target in it, so this might be the only BGH target that he will ever get, and that he realizes that, and he's gonna wait one turn for that shade to get 7 points of damage and then BGH it.
He will take that 7 points of damage, though, so that'll be a very... I mean, even though he's able to deal with the Shade, it's been more than worth it so far,
Yeah.
getting off a 6 and then 7 damage swing, so its usefulness is already out there. Now dropping the Druid of Lore, gets RDU, once again, the very low-cost, sort of just board-flooding minions, and he actually already has the Roar in his hand, too, so... That is a lot of damage going to be coming Trump's way if he can't clear it.
Yeah, so this is a really tough spot here. If he beat GH, he only has 2 more mana this turn. That 5/5 is actually gonna be really, really, really bad here for Trump. So he might consider brawling here, even though he has that BGH. But brawl is risky as well. I think you need to go for BGH and War Axe and just hope that he doesn't have enough follow up to kill you in the next couple of turns.
I mean, ideally, if you drop the Brawl right now and win it, that's the best of all worlds. You take out a 7/7, a 5/5, and either you leave like the 2/1 Argus up or you keep your Acolyte. But the BGH has to be the play here. It's the only target in the entire deck he's going to get the option to use it for. And dropping the Armor Smith at least gives him, 1 extra armor back. And, of course, it'll draw the Sludge Belcher for him as well.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I think that. Yeah, okay, this is gonna be really bad here. That is gonna duplicate itself into another 2/3 with Taunt. But he does have Brawl, but he does also have a lot of minions himself on the board, so... Oh, Execute, that's really, really good here.
Yeah,
That's...
Execute will give him the ability to trade with the 6/6 and take that one out of the field. It'll also give him another card with Acolyte too, and anytime you can get that many cards with Acolyte, it's pretty worthwhile,
Yeah,
especially as a warrior.
So you're definitely gonna start by drawing another card with Acolyte to enable that execute as well, and then you can make the decision to either brawl or play a Sledge Belcher and execute that 6/6.
Yeah, 9 cards in his hand. As a warrior, you never really expect to get to this point where you just have such a huge handful of cards. So a lot of options for Trump, but he does have to play this one right. So ideally, you attack with Acolyte, see what you draw, probably then use the execute on the 6/6, and then try to trade things out. If he didn't have quite so much on the board, this would definitely be a brawl turn, but instead he will
Yeah,
be able to trade.
yeah, he's gonna probably slam the Shield Belcher here on the table. Oh, he's actually going for the brawl anyway. That's interesting. Will Kit Kat slide this time?
He did
Gonna have to
just
wait
play
and
the
see.
Armor Smith, so Kit Kats has told a couple of truths, but also a couple of lies so far this tournament. And the Armor Smith does not survive. Instead, it's just used.
He gets a board clear, however, he's down to 11 life, and with possible combo coming up in 2 turns, he needs to be very afraid here. He does however have 2 taunts and a shield block as well, so uh, double Savage Roar, not really the cards you want to see, but you have that Ancient of Lore to draw more cards here.
Yeah, and ideally, you want to put out monsters on the field this turn and then have the potential to double Savage Roar, especially with the Haunted Creeper out there that'll
Yeah,
just spawn you more monsters.
this is a really risky play by RDU. He has not seen a single Sludge Belcher yet, so he has to know that that's a possibility. He's going for the next turn lethal here, hoping that his opponent does not have a taunt with double Savage Roar.
Yeah, so this is kind of the worst situation that you can be in, because Trump not only has one Sludge Belcher, he has 2 of them, and he's got a lot of armor coming up these next few turns too. So both of those things will put him way away from lethal.
Yeah, so there's definitely gonna be a Sludge Belcher played this turn. And he wants to attack first because he wants to armor up afterwards because he has that shield slam in his hand. So
Yeah, so a lot of armor, a lot of taunts, a lot of just big beefy stuff, and I feel like RDU, that 5 damage that he could have had on the field from the Ancient of Lore, plus the extra cards in his hand, would have been so big this turn. It's just the difference, like you said, between playing aggressive and maybe a little bit greedy, or trying to just play it safe and continue the ramp.
it was a calculated risk here by RDU, but it didn't pay off. Like you should assume that your opponent has at least one Sledge Belcher after these many cards drawn. But now you're just gonna have to draw cards here and hope for the second piece of your combo.
All right, well, he has 2 pieces of his combo, but they're the wrong 2 pieces. And while he does have monsters on the board, this might be a good place to just go for the Savage Roar. It wouldn't give him a very clean clear, so probably just better to drop the Ancient of Lore this turn. We'll see what he draws. Cairn and Spectral Knight.
Yeah, that's actually 2 very good draws here. 2 sticky minions versus warrior. That's not easily removed, and with the 2 Savage Roar in hand, he doesn't really need the Force of Nature here if he gets those minions on the board.
Yeah, and Warriors only run 1 Brawl, and that's already out of the field. So even if he does overextend now, he's going to be safe, and they're actually going to have to be cleared 1 for 1. There is a Shield Slam that's coming up, and there's enough armor to at least take care of the Ancient of Lore, but some big minions coming up in the next few turns for RDU.
Yeah, so we're seeing a cleave here. The addition of cleave in this deck is to counter hunters, and that's probably why it's like. But actually it's weird because he's running cleave, but he's banning hunter. I don't know for what he's running those cleaves for. It's kind of weird addition to the warrior deck. There's better cards than cleave for sure against that.
I mean, it wasn't like the worst card to have in that situation. It
no,
cleared
not
the
in
board.
this situation, but in general, it's very very situational card cleave.
Yeah, I mean, you always feel really good when you use it. You're just like, hey, I killed 2 health minions. Wasn't that cool? And then you realize you're running cleave in your deck, and yeah, I have second thoughts about that. But some big weapons in his hand. It's turn 9, so there's always the possibility of Ysera. Is that a good card to go for here, or do you want to continue to taunt up and maybe throw down a weapon?
He's counting here. He's counting if he's dead to the combo here, which he is for sure if RDU has it. I'm not sure if he's dead to double Savage Roar.
No, because you have to swing twice through the Sludge Belcher.
It's not dead to double Savage Roar, but if he had the Force of Nature, he would have been dead, and that's what Trump is realizing here. So he's gonna play a second taunt here just to be safe, and he's gonna try to get a board clear here with the Death Bite for next turn, the Whirlwind effect.
Yeah, so he will have that ability to clear out the board, but especially now if he uses that to if he was trying for like a full board clear and was able to kill off the Haunted Creeper this turn, that'd just make the combo worse. So he's just going to face there, and I think that's the first time he's really done damage to RDU this game. So
Yeah.
tempo
So
been in.
he needs to know that the Death Bite's Death Rattle will affect the board greatly next turn. So he needs to make some kind of nice plays here to try to play around that by sacrificing the 1/1. I would like to see a Spectral Knight on the board, but we'll see what he decides to do here.
I mean, he does have the ability to at least clear out one of clear out the other Sludge Belchers just to swing through. But yeah, it's like, what do? Do you try to? You don't really need to taunt at this position if you're RDU. You're not really worried about too much coming out there. So, but he does play the Spectral Knight,
and I do believe it's the correct choice here. I'm not so sure about the positioning. Maybe you want it next to the Cairn if you get your Argus. I'm not sure. Or did he use two Arguses already? He used one, I know, but
yeah, I think he only used one, so he still has another one in his deck. There's a lot of taunts in there, a lot of just stuff out on the board, and especially now more than ever, Trump is just dead next turn. So what does he have for options? I mean, yeah, he can clear things with, or he could have cleared things with the Death Rattle, but that's
he
not
actually
really an
used
option
both
anymore.
Arguses now that I think about it. He actually used both, but so he's gonna have to somehow he needs to kill that 1/1 spider token, so he summons the 1/1 tokens and try to clear as much as possible. But that Cairn being at 2 HP is actually quite annoying. So there is a possible play here, and that is executing the Cairn. And yeah, he's gonna go for it. Executing the Cairn, you hit the Cairn with your weapon, you kill the Cairn, and you kill the tokens because you're trading with the Sledge Belcher as well. Oh no, he's going for the... Oh wow. Okay.
Wait. Oh, baby. That is not quite a triple. It's going to be one way to clear out some of the board. It enrages the Grommash, so he's able to kill off the Spectral Knight. And it's not quite a board clear, but when you use Grommash that way, like, that's kind of your win condition as Warrior a lot of times. He's not going to have that now.
I would much rather have him, like... what could he have drawn from the shield block here? I think he was thinking about the odds of him drawing something useful compared to actually playing the Grom here, and I think the Groom might have been a better choice. Because if you shield block that turn, you don't have enough mana to play Groom. You can only play a weapon, and you can't use the weapon that turn because you already have a weapon equipped. So he was thinking about that. But he does have lethal now with double Savage Shore here and the charge. So kind of unfortunate for Trump, but he did his best to stay alive. It's exact lethal.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he didn't even... That's pretty impressive there. There's no overkill at all. Just an exact lethal turn there for RDU at the end of the game. Trump did his best. He came out with the Grommash at the end and tried to clear the series between Trump and RDU, and Trump's gonna go with his Miracle Rogue.
Wow, this is gonna be interesting to see. I always love to see other players play Miracle. It's always interesting for me. And he decides to mulligan his own whole hand here, and I think it's the correct choice because you do want to go for those Auctioneer and Drakes. Farseer is really useless because you're not taking any damage until later on stages in the game.
Yeah, and specifically to the Druid deck that RDU is playing, he's not playing like the big taunt wall Kel'Thuzad style of Druid. He's not even really playing like a rampy style Druid because there is so much early game to his deck. It's more of like a token style, but you mentioned the exact style earlier on. This is how does this work out for Miracle Rogue? Because I feel like Miracle Rogue is like always a decent deck to play into most things, but specifically into the deck RDU is playing.
Yeah, so he has the double Defender of Argus here, which is a problem for Miracle Rogue, since they only have a limited number of saps. He's also running the Druid of the Claws, and he's running Spectral Knights. If Spectral Knights actually gets taunted by an Argus, it's gonna be so hard for Trump to remove that. And I think that's why he decided to keep the Blade Flurry, because that's one of the only ways you can remove Spectral Knight efficiently.
Yeah, so keeping the Blade Flurry, he would have needed to also have the some way to use that, but that would be much later on in the game. So at least for right now, he's got an early Van Cleef. I guess that doesn't help him too much. It does have at least that the backstab in
Oh,
hand. He'll go
I'm
ahead and use
I'm
it.
actually very surprised by that play. When you have a Van Cleef in your hand, you don't want to waste your backstab like that. You could just have waited one turn and done the same thing and get a 4/4 Van Cleef on the table. That was a really weird play, actually.
I guess he's thinking about using the early weapon effectively to clear the Harvest Golem, but he's just gonna be facing another Harvest Golem. Now where's your backstab?
Yeah, I mean, he could have had a 4/4 Van Cleef this turn to apply counter pressure, but now that's not a possibility. So he's gonna wait until turn 4 to poison and make a 4/4 Van Cleef instead.
I mean, Trump does have the Deadly Venom with the Blade Flurry in his hand, so that's good, and it'll be able to clear the shade if that's
Yeah,
the way he wants to deal
this
with
is
it.
another reason why I think he kept the Blade Flurry, because you can deal with that Shade of Naxxramas before he snowballs out of control, and I think that's what he's gonna do now with the Blade Flurry and Poison, attacking the Horus Golem.
And that's actually really big because this is a difficult board to deal with. You got a minion with Death Rattle, you've got a minion with Stealth, and almost the perfect way to wait.
Yeah,
Oh,
it did decide to go for the Van Cleef and wait one turn with the Blade Flurry, but that's actually kind of greedy because we know that he plays double Argus. If he would have had a double Argus, if he would have had an Argus here, he could have traded with that Van Cleef and played around Blade Flurry a bit.
yeah, but now he's actually playing right into Blade Flurry, and I mean, you have to know that maybe a Blade Flurry is coming up, but this is actually a great Blade Flurry turn for Trump.
Yeah, I mean, he needs a Blade Flurry here. If he gets out Savage Roar here with those so many minions,
Oh
it's
my
over.
god. He's even gonna spell power it too, so this Blade Flurry is gonna be absolutely nuts. God, that was a huge turn for Trump. RDU throwing out the well played.
Yeah, this is really bad for RDU. He's stuck with two cards in hand, and those two cards are the combo, which he won't be able to use for another 4 turns. So
Yeah, no
this
card
is
draw either, so he's just gonna be top decking for now. Throws out the Loatheb, and I guess that's not the worst card he could have had, given the number of spells that Trump might want to play. But he's already got so much on the board that he can just trade out with it and still be in a better position.
yeah. That Lothab basically did nothing that turn because he was gonna play a 5 drop anyway, as a Drake or Lothab, so it actually did nothing. It did, however, pick up a Spectral Knight here, which is a really good pickup against an Acid Drake.
Yeah, it'll stick around. He can't kill it next turn because it's untargetable by spells. And I guess for Trump's options next turn, he's got Lotheb that he can drop down. He's also got, I guess he can't backstab or do anything like that. So I guess it's just a Lotheb turn depending on what he draws.
He actually decided to clear that, which is pretty strange here. I would have preferred playing the Spectral Knight. If that was an Auctioneer, I would have understood his decision, but it was just an Acid Drake. Not much that an Acid Drake can do really versus a Spectral Knight because um, he's not able to be targeted by spells.
Yeah, and especially since he's coming up on the combo in 3 turns, like you're really hoping to draw your other half of the combo, or at least draw some minions to put out there on the board. And I don't think RDU is gonna be able to do that. I mean, he throws down the Spectral Knight this turn, but is that like a turn too late?
Yeah. So there is still no Auctioneer in Trump's hand now, though. He picks up a Sap, which is useless because he can Sap a Spectral Knight here. Uh, he can, however, kill that Spectral Knight with the Lothab and Dagger, and then heal the Lothab back up. He could even Shadow Step the Lothab to prevent more spells being cast from RDU. But I do think just healing the Lothab up again and establishing your board control is better here.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I mean, even though Trump is he's not playing a priest or a mage, he could definitely use some arcane intellect, figure out how to deal with this. He'll clear it out there with the weapon, but that puts him at 11 life. So if he heals the Lotheb here, and it does look like he's going to do that, he is in kill range from a lot of different things in RDU's hand.
Yeah, so see here, how many damage? Oh my god. Uh,
Did
he's
he
getting
just?
so no, he's getting so close to lethal right now. It's not lethal just yet. He needs to get him a little bit lower. But Trump is not really super afraid of the combo here now that he's seen the first piece of the combo being wasted on a Acid Drake. So he's feeling confident healing the Loathab there instead of himself.
All right. Well, he's I think he's three. Yeah, he's 3 damage off lethal right now.
This is the
but...
play that I was thinking about. You put your opponent in lethal range for next turn, but he needs to realize this. Trump needs to realize that RDU has lethal, otherwise he would never do that. So he needs to Shadow Step his Farseer here to stay alive. And shivving the 2-4 here and trading with the Farseer into Shadow Stepping it and healing yourself is the only play that's good here.
Yeah, and it'll continue to keep Trump out of lethal just one more turn.
But, he picks up another. That's actually huge.
Oh my god, because now he doesn't have to Shadow Step that. He can save that.
I think he's gonna Shadow Step the Loathab here, actually. And no, he's Shadow Stepping his Farseer. He's really afraid here. I do not understand why, because he picked up a second Farseer.
Yeah, and so that means that you can't... and the Loathab really protects him as much as gaining extra health protects him too, because it keeps him away from the combo. So
let's see here. He needs to pick up another piece of the combo. If he top decks Force of Nature here, he wins.
Yeah, exactly. And there's actually a lot that he could top deck here too. He won't be able to.
You see,
oh
that's
my
why
god.
wouldn't be able to be played if he Shadow Stepped this Loathab. Oh, he's actually not gonna swipe the Loathab. He's just going face here. Interesting. He has lethal next turn with that play.
Is very aggressive, and I mean it doesn't put anything out there on the board, so having all these minions, you can deal damage with them, but damage isn't what you're wanting right now. If you're Trump, you gotta keep yourself alive.
Trump can do nothing here. He's actually dead. He can't Shadow Step anything. If he would have Shadow Stepped that Loathab, he wouldn't be swiped that turn, and it might have saved him. But then he would have 3 less health. So yeah. He's dead here.
Trump is pretty dead. Like you said, the Loathab didn't stop anything from being played last turn, and with only 6 health, that's combo range for just about anything. And of course, we know that RDU has that in his hand. So, oh my god, he's trying desperately. Like, let me put out as much damage as I can, and it's just not enough. So RDU didn't just get 1 win with his Druid, he's gonna pick up 2 wins in a row. Throws out the well played, and there's the Ancient, or Druid of the Claw, the combo, the roar, and the 6 damage right to the face, plus the, of course, hero power damage. So, well played, RDU with 2 wins. He's got the Leroy in there, he's got a lot of early options, so almost perfect opening hand for Trump.
And noteworthy to say is that this Druid is actually stronger than most Druids against Hunter because of those double Arguses and Spectral Knights. They prevent... if you get your Spectral Knight taunted in this matchup, it's kind of the same with Miracle Rogue. He can't get Hunter's Mark, he can't get kill commanded. So it's just a really, really beefy and sticky minion on the board.
Yeah, and okay, drawing into a Leroy is not what he wants. Of course, the chicken also probably not what he wants.
He got the chicken.
The chicken hype. Hey, at least it's not a Hungry Crab though. Although I think Trump is more familiar with playing Hungry Crabs than a lot of players.
I think the Hungry Crab is better than the chicken actually. You need a Houndmaster on that chicken, otherwise it's just completely useless in this matchup.
On the upside though, if he does get a Houndmaster on the chicken, that's one scary chicken. But, of course, Houndmastering chickens probably not what Trump is wanting to foresee in his future. So he goes for the tracking, and he picks the Buzzard out of all 3 of those. Do you think that was the right... I mean, he obviously needs the Buzzard as quickly as possible.
You need to go for the combo versus this kind of token slash mid-range hunter, Druid. Those oozes and those spiders, they spawn so many tokens, so you want those unleashed as quickly as possible.
And now, especially with this Argus coming out next turn, this is what is going to give RDU such a big tempo swing. He gets taunts. They're big taunts too, and he can trade out with that spider. Oh my god, RDU. How does he get the best hand every time? This is big swing in his favor.
I do believe that he needs to play the explosive trap here. He does have the coin as well, so he might consider tracking right now. But what do you really want? You want Unleash for sure, but if you track for Unleash, you can't play the Unleash combo this turn. So he's just gonna go ahead and explosive and track next turn.
Yeah, an explosive will be very big here. It takes care of your ooze problem. It'll get rid of the taunts too, but I think it only works when you hit the heroes. So maybe
Oh,
still
but he
stuff
picks
out
up
there.
an Argus here.
My
And that
God.
Argus will actually keep that second ooze alive. But he's
Eh,
oh, he doesn't wanna save it. He wanna play around Unleash here, and that's why he's sacrificing those. Because those would have been really weak minions if they survived, and that would have just been the end if he got Unleash on that.
Yeah, really smart by RDU. He has good plays in his hand, but he's choosing not necessarily to just go for the most value, but rather to counterplay around what his opponent has. So just really smart there. He plays around Unleash, and of course, we know that Trump doesn't necessarily have that, but he will be able to track for half of it. You can tell he's digging for the hounds right now.
Yeah, he needs to pick up the Animal Companion here. And hopefully he will get something like Huffer or Misha.
Oh, but that's really rough because it gets rid of his second explosive trap, and versus this sort of, like you said, tokeny style of druid that RDU is playing, it's just gonna be a rough few turns. Now he can take care of the druid of the claw, so at least that's out of the picture, and the board is relatively even. But RDU has got tons of options in his hand.
Yeah, and now we got a second Ooze Argus combo here, which is really, really good. So he needs that Unleash right now. And I think actually here, you need to gamble. You can't play the Savannah High main because you're dead to Savage Shore. You need
So
to
you
go
play
for
buzzard
Buzzard
chicken?
and Chicken. I think so, man. It's very, very risky, but I mean, you have the
In which,
coin as well. So
yeah.
if you get something like Timberwolf, you could keep cycling for that Unleash. But I don't know, Kev. I mean, you can't play the Savannah High main. That's for
Oh
sure.
man. And so once again, it comes down to the chicken to save Trump's life. If he plays that and gets the combo, the game is totally turned around. Plus, he's going to have a ton of cards in his hand too, so he'll be able to keep playing those. And he's two of the cards in his hand right now are 0 mana, so he can dump those so he doesn't overdraw.
Yeah.
So big turn for Trump. Does he gamble for it, or is he going to go for a safer play? I think he has to play the Hunter's Mark. It's just good to get
He's
that out of your
he's
hand.
gonna see if he gets a. Oh, he gets the Hungry Crab. I was just saying that. Oh no, it's not gonna. Okay, I guess it's fine now because he's still alive because he Hunter's marked that. But that Hungry Crab can actually recycle a card cheaply and in order to get that Unleash. But with that Lothar being played, there is nothing Trump can do here to stay alive next turn.
Yeah, that's exactly why you see Lotheb in every single deck. If some of you are new to Hearthstone or you haven't played through Naxxramas yet, well, you should definitely go do that. And one of the reasons you'll see the Lotheb played in every single deck is because of this. You have an advantage on the board and you play Lotheb, it almost guarantees that there's no possible way that you can lose that advantage next turn,
Oh
especially
my
if your
god,
opponent's so far
he
behind.
actually got the Houndmaster here.
What on earth?
But it's not gonna save him, I think. No, it's not gonna save him actually from the Savage Shore and Wrath.
Yeah, that's just too much damage. He can go for the taunt. I think that's what he has to do there just to keep himself alive. But the roar just, oh my god, too
Yeah,
much damage coming next turn.
this is lethal here. Um, so yeah, Trump getting 3-0'd again by RDU.
And 3-0
Great
with this
lethal.
druid too. Like we didn't expect this to go past maybe one game, but oh my god, just too much damage coming out there. There is well played RDU. This RDU had taken down 3 games in a row versus Trump and taking him out.